Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm joined by Michael Brett, who is someone who I consider one of the best employed estate agents in the UK. Michael, thank you for joining me today. I'd like to ask you your story of being an estate agent so the people watching can learn from you. Is that okay?
Of course, that's fine. Thanks for having me, Chris.
No worries, Michael. Right, Michael. When did you first become an estate agent?
I first became an estate agent more by chance.
Okay. When was that? What year was this?
2016, I believe it was.
2016. How old were you at this point?
I must have been just turning 18.
Just turning?
18, I think, yeah.
Okay, so you've been to sixth form college or?
I was actually at college doing performing arts at the time.
Okay, so you're an actor, are you?
Well, I guess you could say that.
Okay then. Is that because you weren't good at English and maths and everything else?
No, it was more a case of I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to take life, and that was something I enjoyed and I was good at. So it sort of made sense until...
What, so you did like an MVQ in performing arts, that sort of thing?
Yeah, performing arts, acting, dancing, a little bit singing, you know. Not that I'm particularly good at it, but it's under the course.
Okay, so did you finish that in the late spring of 2016 then?
Well, to be honest, as I was we had to do a work experience, and because I wasn't overly, keen on going into performing as a career, I ended up doing a week of work experience at Mackay Property. And
what month was this in 16?
This was probably very early, maybe January, February, I'd say.
Okay, so you went on a work experience to an estate agent. What made you choose an estate agent? Or was it kind of, oh, I need to do something, so I like houses, I'll go there?
I don't know. I think it was more. I think my life had sort of been pointing that way by chance. I done a week of work experience assigned by the school before college, which was at a letting agency, and they offered me an apprenticeship there. And then the work experience that I'd done during college, my mum actually set up because she knew Adam. He was friends with the family, so I had no intentions whatsoever, and I'd done it and just really enjoyed it.
What did you like about being in that week? What did you like about working in a letting and estate agents? You know, a young lad, 18 years old.
I guess it was just the diversity of it, in the sense of there's so many different avenues to it. In terms of the basics, but also the marketing side of it. That's something that I stepped into very early.
I want to know about the first week. What did you love about the first week? You were a virgin estate agent, a letting agent. What did you love about that first week? We can do all the fluff later on.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, I think that first week, it was just a case of, I'm the sort of person that loves doing a job to the best I can. And I guess you could say a bit of a people pleaser initially, certainly my earlier years. So having a job where I could do that and make a difference to people and do a job, the best way, I like that from the offset.
Okay, so you did a week. You obviously went back to college. Did Adam offer you anything at that time?
Yeah, Adam, I think at the time he told me a story that there was another chap working there who approached Adam and said, he should hire me. And I think Adam mentioned that chap handed in his notice. So Adam offered me a Saturday job, which very quickly turned into any days I was free, in the week, which very quickly turned into more days working than I was at college, and excelled from there. Okay,
so when did you go? You'd have done your exams in, April, May time of 2016. When did you go full time?
To be honest, it was sort of a case of.
You did finish your exam, didn't you?
I know. I got some of the exams back, but it was more a case of my tutor saw where it was going, and that was clearly something I was very passionate with, and I was doing well in. She knew that I didn't really have any intentions of going down the acting route.
To be a thespian on the stage.
Yeah. So I think she sort of saw that there was an avenue that was really opening up for me, and it just sort of the opportunity went to go full time, and I just sort of jumped at it, to be honest. Yeah.
Lovely. So walking the stage wasn't for you. You became what, junior neg?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, my first sort of role, I didn't actually drive for the first couple of years of working, which I guess in this industry, when you're starting out, is quite unheard of, because most of the time people get thrown out doing viewings and taking away sort of the donkey work. But them first couple of years, not driving, not being out the office, were I guess, really important to my growth. It just meant that I could spend a lot of time in the office understanding the processes, listening to other people's conversations, how they dealt with clients.
And did you really think at that point, and remember we're talking 2016, you were 18 years old?
Yeah.
Did you really think at that time, and again, I want you to remember at that time,
Yeah.
did you really think this is a career for me? Or were you just an 18-year-old just getting your bare money and...
I was living very much in the moment, in the sense of, in the same way I went and done acting because I didn't know where I wanted life to go. I just done what I enjoyed. And when I was working there, Adam is a very sort of passionate, bubbly person. And we got on from the offset, and it was a case of, I enjoyed what I was doing, so that's all I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about where it would take me, any money that would be involved in the future. It was just I enjoyed it, and we very from the offset had that vision of what we enjoyed doing, where we wanted to take it. And
who's we?
Me and Adam, yeah.
Okay.
Obviously the director of the company, and we sort of had that vision early on, and actually went on the video courses with yourself, sort of around the same time I was starting out. And yeah, we just took it down that route very early on with the sort of video marketing and the social media marketing, and that was an avenue we really enjoyed, and it was doing really well.
Okay, so 2016 moved into 2017. You still enjoying the job?
Yeah, still enjoying the job. At the time, I had a lot of aspirations of, I knew I wanted to do some travelling, I wanted to live and explore, and I knew that this was a career job. So I had a lot of turmoil at the time of, I knew I really enjoyed the job, but I also had that in the back of my mind. Before starting in the work, I always had plans of going, travelling and such. So yeah, for a long time I had that I battled that decision, but still really enjoy the job.
Okay, so what did that battle look like? Were you just wondering that, bloody hell, I'm going to be stuck in this little Hertfordshire town for the rest of my life, going around people's houses? Which, don't get me wrong, is a great job.
Yeah.
But did you want to experience life and do the grand tour, as they say, or go backpacking with alpacas in Peru and things like that?
Make the memories. Yeah, I come from a family of very sort of free-spirited, individuals. Okay. My siblings went travelling. Even my mum at 50 sort of took 6 months off to go travel in India, and so that's the family I've always been around, and I always had the plans to do that. And it wasn't as much being stuck doing that job. It was just that I knew from a young age I already had quite an important role at the company, and I had that responsibility that as much as I wanted to travel, I didn't want to leave the company because I felt like there wouldn't be anyone that could do the job as good as I was doing it.
Are you a bit of a perfectionist?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think that's detrimental to you?
I think it's got its pros and cons.
Okay.
Because the pros being, I've always had the attitude of, if I know how to do a job perfectly, why would I do anything else?
Okay, but then don't you beat yourself up when you don't be perfect?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but why beat yourself up when surely, if everyone else is doing it at 80% and you beat yourself up because you get at 99?
I don't know. I guess even to this day, that's something that I have a lot of battle with, because as much as you can look at stats of how well you're doing and positives, I'm always thinking, oh, I could have done that better, or I could have done this better, and always it's very easy to beat myself up because I hold myself to them.
Okay.
And aspirations.
Okay, but surely instead of beating yourself up for hitting 99% and beating yourself up because of the one, why don't you praise yourself by saying, well, instead of aiming for excellence, which means everyone else is at 80, I'm at 99. Yeah, we need to do a bit better at 1%, but don't beat yourself up. Yeah, because if you're not careful, it'll screw your life up.
It's definitely like something that I focus a lot on, and I really focus a lot on my gratitude. When I'm obviously go through different stages of your routines, but when I'm in my good routines, I start the morning with that gratitude, focusing on all the things I've done well and doing well, where I'm going. But it's easy to lose sight of that in the busyness of life.
Let's come back to this travelling bug. Did you lance that boil? Did you go anywhere?
I didn't really, no.
Do you think it's still there?
I guess my I always had them aspirations, and then my life sort of took a turn when me and my best friend since we were 12, we'd always sort of liked each other, but went down different routes, and we eventually got together as in a relationship, and from there our aspirations just sort of changed, and we've got a little one on the way, due next month. So yeah, I mean, we're at that point where it's not as, I think the travelling was more a case of I just wanted to get away and do something different, whereas now I'm with someone that I feel like I could be happy anywhere. So it's
Okay, well, we'll come on and talking about the fact that you are going to become a father for the first time, and you got together with your best friend. So it sounds like a classic love story. Let's bring it back. 2018, 2019. Still enjoying the job? I
yeah.
mean, because if you don't mind me saying, I did notice that. If you don't mind me saying, you were partying hard at that time, weren't you?
Yeah. I was, as much as any teenager goes through stuff, I was dealing with my own, things. I had a relationship at the time, which, when that ended, that hit me quite hard. And so obviously, I mean, everyone goes through it at any stage in life. I think when you're at that age, you're more sort of fragile and you haven't had the experience to get over things. So I was dealing with that side of life as well as trying to keep professional. So yeah, there was a lot of like partying and having fun, which I think is important to do, but it's just having that balance of still doing the job when you come in.
How did it make? I mean, do you think that the rocky relationships you had at that time affected your work balance, your life balance?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think anytime you've got mental health struggles in or outside of work, it's always going to have an impact. I've always been a very sort of professional person that I try my best. Once I'm in the office, I'm just focused. But having them aspirations of where I hold myself, I'll know as much as other people might not tell. I'll know I'm not doing the job as well as I could. So that stays with me.
But how is it affecting you mentally? How could you switch off when you walk through that door? Because I don't care what you say, we're all human beings.
There's not really a guidebook to how you deal with them things, is there? But I try my best in the sense of a lot of the time it's, well, if you don't do the job, it's not going to get done. And you have to.
I'm more interested about you, Michael, and the way that you were able to compartmentalise the troubles you had at home versus what was at the office.
Yeah, I guess it's just that everyone has their own sort of coping mechanisms. I think for me it was always a case of sort of having that switch of they had the issues there, but I was able to just sort of when I needed to suppress them and.
Okay. But surely you know damn well that by suppressing them, they can come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
did they come back?
Well, it never went away. It would be in work, and then you come home, and I used to. My friends would always joke I'd be in the suit as soon as I'd get home, throw off the suit, put on my free-spirited hippie clothes, and just deal with whatever I was dealing with. But I had counselling sort of weekly for 2.5 years, which I think from a young age. Because everyone goes through their life having their issues, but a lot of people don't deal with them until they're late, so I think that really helped.
Why did you embrace counselling? Because that's quite a brave thing to do at such a young age.
I always
did the guys in the office know that you were having counselling?
Well, I mean, if they would have asked, I would have said. I've always tried to be quite open about it.
What I asked. Did the guys know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Is this the first time they know about it?
No, they know about it now. Maybe at the age, probably for the first year, I just would get on with it, and then as I was more confident.
What was just for the boys and girls out there watching this? What was the point that made you actually say, "I need to deal with this"? Because if you don't mind me saying, that's a very mature thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of 40, 50, 60-year-olds out here haven't got the balls to do that. What was the catalyst that made you say, "I need to talk to someone about this"?
I don't know. It was very much a case of I had these things that I'd be dealing with. Everyone goes through whether it's childhood stuff or stuff that stays with you, and I always was very curious of understanding why I was the way I was. And
what do you mean by that?
I mean, in the sense of everyone's unique in how they cope with things, how they deal with things, and obviously, coping mechanisms. Everyone deals with their own triggers in a certain way, and obviously that influences the way that you deal with other things in life, different situations, people.
Okay, so you had issues in your childhood, which we all do, because as childs, it's difficult to compute things. But what was the crux? What was the point where the catalyst that said, "I need to talk to someone"?
I think it's always just been my mentality.
Did someone come to you, like a mum or work colleague, and say?
No, it was all very much off my own.
So
back.
You just basically said to yourself, "I've got issues, not end of the world stuff, but basically the best way to deal with this is to talk to a counsellor."
Yeah, I think from a younger age, even when I was 17, I approached a counsellor privately, just off my own back. I didn't tell my family about it. That wasn't as successful this time around when I was a little bit older, but yeah, I was out in my relationship. It was probably it was probably 20. I don't know if I was probably about 19. I think I started counselling. You know, February, I think, same sort of time, start of the year, and I just sort of got to that stage where I thought, I don't want to feel like this anymore. You know, I want to help myself.
It was almost a facade that you were portraying as because I've known you since 2016. You were putting this facade out as the party man, and you know, like I said at the start of the video, you are one of the best employed estate agents. You act like you own the business, you care like you own the business, which again is fantastic. But do you think you're almost living a lie behind the facade, and you needed to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean,
Not in a bad way, but just kind of you with that Jekyll and Hyde.
I think to an extent, everyone has that, and I've always been or tried to be a very open person when I was struggling with stuff, and you know, I'd never sort of hide it back. But at the same time, there's got to be a level of you still want to enjoy yourself when you're going through life, and so yeah, there'd always be a level of facade, you know, which I think just allows you to get through life, and then you deal with stuff in your own time.
And you said to me off camera that you realise that the partying and you know what you put in your mouth is very important. And I believe you embraced veganism, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
My wife's actually we've got some friends who are vegans. They're a pain in the ass to cook for, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it's getting a little bit easier with the way things have changed over the last couple of years. It's more accessible. But yeah, that was again, my partner Alice. We were just friends at the time. Friends, yeah. She'd been sort of raised vegetarian, pescatarian, and we had this moment where
Were you together at this point by then?
No, we were just friends. Yeah, we were just friends.
So, did she always hold a light for you, but you didn't realise that?
Yeah, I mean, when we were younger in school, we were best friends like from the first day we met, and I think it was more a stage of she liked me in the early years, and then I liked her in the later years. We all had different partners at different times, and then more recently, when she split up with her partner, it was a case of I'm not going to wait anymore, and we just had that conversation, and it was like, it was like a bit of a strange feeling because she, as much as she fancied me when we were younger, where we'd been friends for so long, she never saw me like that, and it wasn't until we had that conversation that things just sort of clicked and it fell into place, and it was a strange transition.
Was that a difficult conversation to have?
Oh, extremely, yeah. I battled with the.
Because were you worried that she might actually just turn away and run away?
Yeah, it was very much a case of I tried my best not to talk about it because my friendship was so amazing, and I never wanted to ruin that in any way. So for a long time, I would never address anything of the sort, and it got to a point where one Sunday evening I was feeling anxious as hell in bed, and my friend lived with me at the time, and I never really spoke about it with my friends either because I didn't want to create any vibes when we were all hanging out. But I told him, and he was like, just talk to her, just go there now. And I thought, yeah, like same way with the counselling, I just thought, I don't want to be like this, I'll just go for it. And I drove around there, and we went for a walk, and yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
That's lovely. That's lovely. You were progressing quite well in the business. You've got a boss in the name of Adam Mackay, top bloke. But Adam had issues in his business, and I've said off camera that he almost had the best employees in the world, but there was also some that, should we say, don't fall into that category. How did you cope with having a boss who, what am I trying to say, how did it feel for you that basically you were almost doing two persons' jobs whilst you were carrying other people in the business?
Yeah, I mean, Adam, in the same way as myself, he's an emotional man, and everyone goes through stuff, and when he was dealing with stuff, he was emotional about it. So obviously that, yeah, there was certainly periods and times where Adam was always able to leave me. He never had to monitor me. It was always a case of I'd do the job, I'd get on with it. You never had to make sure I was doing the job. Whereas as it's never easy to find the right staff. There were other employees over the years that certainly weren't like that at all.
We're not just picking on one. I know for a fact, because I've known Adam for over 5 years, there were a handful of them.
Yeah, there certainly were a handful, and yeah, it was very much a case of obviously being a younger person. You don't when you're going for a career job, you don't start out on amazing pay naturally. So when you know that you're working so much harder than these other people who have been doing it a longer time. So naturally, the pay reflects that. But you know that you're doing, firstly, working so much harder, but also I certainly felt like doing a much better job. That was tough to do because you don't necessarily get that.
Did you broach the subject with Adam?
It was tough to talk about. Certainly for me, as a
Answer the question.
touch and go. There may be moments of it.
Do you think in hindsight you could have said something sooner?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
So what would your message be to any hardworking neg who they see someone who's superior to them in terms of the pecking order not putting their weight? What message would you give to a neg on dealing with it? Because that's a very, very difficult conversation to have. But again, you had that difficult conversation with your best friend who just happened to be female, and now look at you, pregnant and about to give birth.
Yeah.
What would your advice be?
Yeah, I think anytime you're approaching a conversation like that, and anytime when it's work related, especially when you're a junior, for example, and you're starting out in that life, none of that stuff's straightforward, because unless you've got someone to talk you through it, you're going through it for the first time. So them conversations are always difficult, but certainly in that moment, if anyone was going through that, or anything similar, I think just having that conversation of, listen, can we have a chat? This is how I'm feeling. And obviously, the senior person that you're talking to, they can have their own views on it, but you've at least got to express how you're feeling.
Are you saying that you must have that conversation?
I think it would be a huge.
I think the magic word you said is that how you're feeling. And my advice to anyone watching this is how I'm feeling, but am I missing it? But cover your backside by saying, am I missing something? Am I not seeing the full picture?
Yeah.
Because this is how I feel. I need to be told.
Yeah.
If I'm missing
this is how I see things from my perspective, and that's something I've always been big on. Everyone has their own perspectives of things, and from my perspective, I was doing 3 people's jobs for half the pay or more than that, and wasn't getting any kind of respect or or praise for that. And yeah, and as I said, I'm the sort of person, I'd always do the job, but it gets to a point it wears you down when that's going on and you don't see any change. And obviously there's either staff issues or people's issues in their own personal lives, and everyone goes through it. But obviously that's how I was feeling, and if I would have expressed that, who knows where things could have gone.
knows at all. How was lockdown? How was 2020, 2021? How's that been for you?
That was a very strange time for everyone, but I'd never worked from home or anything of the sort. And yeah, I mean, when everything first sort of kicked off, I think everyone was left in the same boat where we live in these crazy busy lives. And it certainly felt like, for me, a life that would never be stopped or slowed down. It's just, this is the systems, everything's about money. And all of a sudden, the whole world was in this situation where everything came to a pause and a stop. And suddenly, there was more important things than just work or money or life. And
do you think, apart from the awful situation of people passing away, do you think, and that's been awful, but do you think it just changed you for the better?
Yeah,
in your outlook?
I think, yeah. One thing for me before, I've always, as I say, spoken about gratitude and being positive, being kind to people. And
where did that come from? Is that from your parents, grandparents? Is it DNA?
I think it's just always been me.
Okay.
It's always just been a part of me. People joke about maybe that I'm over the top with it and I'm very exaggerated, and I think that's a nice quality I have. But I've always been that way. And one thing I've found myself sort of thinking and saying is, you go through life, everyone's going through their own issues, and because people are so concerned about their own issues, you don't necessarily think about other people. But when we were going through lockdown and COVID, and obviously still going through it, it's a case of when you are feeling like that, you're looking at that complete stranger thinking they're going through the exact same thing, and suddenly you have this connection like two strangers. And I think that's the most important thing that we have in this life, that connection, the fact that we're all living here together. And yeah, I think that's...
Well, as you say, a stranger's just a friend you haven't met yet, isn't it?
That's a lovely saying, yeah.
As I said, by the time this film comes out, you'll probably be a father. You are going 24 now?
Approaching 23.
You're approaching...
I'm 23 next month.
23 next month. I wish you well with the birth of... Do we know if it's a boy or a girl?
No, that'll be a surprise.
Excellent. That's what we like to see. Where do you see your future, both as a human being, a father, and an estate agent? Let's go father and estate agent. And I include being I don't know if you, the name of your partner's Alice, isn't it?
Alice, yeah.
I don't know if you could get married or not. I don't think cool kids don't do that anymore. So there you go. But basically, she's going to be the mother of your child.
Yeah.
So talk about your fathership and estate agency future.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things. Nothing excites me more than being a dad. I never had plans to be a father this early, and if I was with anyone else, I would nowhere near be thinking about this. Not until I'm nearly 30. But with my current, with Alice being my best friend, it just feels natural. It feels easy, and I've not really had to think about it too much. I've not had them daunting feelings. I just feel excited about it, and I know that we're always going to look after each other, and we've got our first place, and so naturally you have the responsibility of not only have you got a family, you've got a mortgage to pay for, and obviously that brings in different aspects of the work life as well. And
are you scared?
I wouldn't say, certainly fatherhood I'm not scared of.
Okay. Do you have any fears?
I don't think so. No, I feel I try my best to live in the moment. I'm always pushing myself, as I say, to them expectations. So if I'm not, it's easy. You could easily look at your stats and think, yeah, I'm doing well. But the way I am, and any human's brains, I naturally focus on the stuff that I'm not doing or haven't done right. I think that's the way most people are designed. So I can get myself, I can sometimes focus on that too much and get myself down about it. And in my own head, I'm thinking I'm not doing good enough. And then other people say, you're doing amazing. And I have to sort of try and check myself and focus on the positives. But yeah, certainly in terms of, I've been valuing since last year, coming out of lockdown. That was something I was always I found quite daunting because of my age.
What's your conversion rate compared to Adam's?
I think we're probably quite close, actually.
Okay then.
I mean, he's not been doing as many valuations recently, so I think he'll say his stats are quite high.
Adam's off camera, by the way, boys and girls. Okay then. So what will I see in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, I'd love to. We're launching a new sort of branch of the company, Mackay Bespoke, which we're working through at the moment.
Don't you fancy working for yourself?
I think the relationship me and Adam have, I think, I already have that independence that a lot of people would get from working for themselves. A lot of the time it is that freedom and making sure, for a lot of people, they go off on their own because you get that freedom, but you get your own control. And I think because Adam has a lot of faith and trust in me, I have that anyway.
Okay.
And if I had ideas and plans, I feel like I could easily communicate that.
Okay.
And
we'll keep going, and who knows? You should. If he doesn't, he should bloody well should do. And I'm saying this off camera. Is you should give him some equity, but he needs to fucking earn it. He's too young yet. But honestly, do that. Play the long game, and you'll win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Michael, I really do think the world of you. You genuinely are up there in the top 5 estate agents that I know who are employed. You act like you run your own business. You care. You go an awful long way. Your videos are exceptional. Adam and the team are lucky to have you, and you're lucky to have them as well. So I wish you well in your future. I hope you out there in the estate and letting agency land, especially you negs watching this, can watch this, but with the amount of passion this guy has, determination, awareness of who he is, self-awareness, his ability for his hard work, and more importantly, playing the long game with patience, you'll go far. Because the bottom line is this, mate, you're working now for the next 50 years. Okay?
Yeah, that's the fun part.
And I'm going to give you one piece of advice. I've just turned 50, okay? I can remember when I was your age, and men do not grow up after 21, all right? I tell you here and now, and I just feel exactly the same as I did when I was your age. The only difference is, unfortunately, you get some creaky bones and you have to go for a wee halfway through the night. There's no difference. So play the long game, enjoy the journey, and you'll win.
Thank you very much, Chris. Some lovely, kind words, and lovely to see you again.
Look after yourself. Thank you.
You too.